poster that is pinned to the top, that is the pre-production for this music video. So it's going to look a lot like that, only a full-length video, music video. And anybody who wants to be involved in that and is in LA and is in the queer community, I encourage you to reach out to me, because we really want to have this be a true pride party that we just happen to be filming and turning into a music video. So any camera ops or any people that do styling or hair, makeup, or also just want to be on set with us and be part of it and be at an amazing pool party and be in the video, please contact me, because we're really wanting to include the community in this music video. So I'm very excited about that, and that is, we're planning to release that over Labor Day weekend as kind of a last hurrah of the summer. And then the EP will be out that same time as well. So I'll be announcing all of that on all my social media channels. So you can follow me. Also follow me on Spotify so that you can get the latest updates of music that I release on there too.
Definitely. We'll be sure to link your social media. So let me ask you two questions here. A, how is it being a musician in this time? Maybe we can say 2016, 2017, but how is it being a musician in this time with the incredible connective power of social media is question number one. And question number two, how is your relationship with the music industry?
I love those questions. It actually makes me very excited because of exactly what you said. Social media is so powerful. And I love the experience of being a musician who is independent and is able to put out my own music and totally have my own image and create my own image and my own voice. That's possible in this day and age where it was never possible before. I love the fact that there is a direct line between me as a musician and people who are listening to my music, and we are able to communicate with each other on social media and have actual direct interactions with one another. I love that the community that wants to consume and listen to my music has a voice in all of this and is able to share with me their experience of it and what they're looking for, any collaborations they would want me to be a part of. I think it's this day and age to me is incredibly empowering for an individual who wants to put their own voice out into the world in whatever way that is, because of the power of social media and how we're able to connect with people on our own, and we don't need somebody else to do that for us. And that's been one of my favorite parts about my process as a musician and creating my own music, is that I didn't have to wait for anybody. I didn't have to wait for somebody to say that my music was good enough or that I was good enough or that I looked the right way. I knew that there was a message that I needed to get out, and I knew that there was a community that wanted it because I wanted it. I wanted to experience this and an empowered gay woman that I could look at and have inspire my life. And so I just thought, okay, well then why not me? I think it needs to be me. I'll do this. And I was able to do that because, first of all, the power of community in my actual life, my friends, people that are producers and filmmakers, and we're able to collaborate together and create beautiful art together. But also to build a base of amazing fans who are connecting with me and are able to consume content in a way that they feel actually included in the process. And I really, really love that. My relationship to the music industry is that's an interesting question. I think that the music industry is just shifting so swiftly, and whereas there are people who kind of bemoan the changes that are happening, in my perspective, they're happening no matter what. Like, this train is going. So I feel that what we need to do and what we have the opportunity to do is to jump on that train and really create new ways to put content out in the world rather than maybe the old ways or even ways that were going on 10 years ago, that we have the opportunity to evolve and move things forward. And for me, that's incredibly exciting. I love kind of being on the horizon of something new, on the cusp of something new. So I think it's a very, very exciting time to be a creative in this world. because of all the resources that are available to us.
No, I'll totally agree with you, Jessie. And the funny thing, because you were just saying about how different it is from 10 years ago. To be honest, this is really going to date myself, but I felt like I was really, really on top of all this 20 years ago. So from like
wow,
96 to like 99, like just as the internet was literally in its infancy and people were figuring out how to send emails and get past the smoke signal days, it was like I felt like we were really on top of it. 10 years ago, I was sort of like, oh, wow, man, this thing is really happening fast, man. So now you're talking about bringing us up to now. So now I'm at that same point where it's like, okay, so how do I reevaluate what I was doing 20 years ago and 10 years ago, and where do I go today? So it's really refreshing for me to see you embracing what's going on today. No, I don't want to be one of those relics and one of those records that goes on the shelves and people look at it like, oh yeah, I remember that one. Like I want to always be current and relevant, but I just, from musician to musician, I want you to understand that there is definitely some longevity to this game. Me having done it for so long now, and I know that you came from an upbringing of parents who are both musicians. I'm the choir director's son. In the late 1970s, my father was the local choir director, and I was the choir kid that all the choir kids loved. So I literally had access to pianos and drums and xylophones were all around me, man.
So cool. Yeah, that's an incredible experience. I can definitely relate to that.
And did they start you off, for like a birthday, here's a guitar? I mean, how did you get your very first break into music? I mean, was it literally from crib to the stage?
There are a few steps in between that. My dad was actually my piano teacher. I started when I was like really young. I think I was like 5 maybe. I don't want to exaggerate. He might correct me on that, but I was very young when I started learning piano, and my dad was my teacher. I actually played flute for a while. I started that in middle school. And I didn't actually start playing a string instrument, ukulele and guitar, until after college, to be honest. And so that's a new experience. I was in choir in middle school and high school, one of the best experiences of my life. We toured the world singing classical choral music, so that is deeply ingrained in my soul. And then both of my grandfathers were jazz musicians. They were in jazz bands. So I grew up going to big bands, their big band shows, and my dad was in rock and roll music, and my parents, once they like settled down and had their like real life adulthood and had kids, they still did music in church. And so I would oftentimes sneak up on stage, and I knew all the songs that my mom was singing, and I would just go and stand next to her, and eventually they gave me a microphone. So yeah, that was definitely part of my upbringing.
Take all of that culture, take all of that upbringing, all of that culture, the classical music, the choral music, the jazz, everything that you were exposed to and experienced, and let me just ask you about pop music. So obviously we've seen incredible talent over the years. It's now been 50 years since the Beatles, all of these wonderful acts, singers, Whitney Houston, et cetera, et cetera. We could go on. So what do you think about pop music, and what is it that brings you back to pop music, and is pop music still alive?
Yes, so I think pop music, from where I stand, looking backwards, what I'm seeing is that there have been these waves where pop music is truly saying something. So I think we all know that the Beatles, they had a love revolution, and they were definitely speaking up about social issues, and then through the waves, Prince was saying something in some of his songs even, and David Bowie, like just the greats were saying things in their pop music. And there's been kind of like a dry spell maybe when I was growing up with music that was actually saying something that was mainstream. And I think what I'm seeing these days is actually a resurgence of pop music that is trying to have a message behind it. And again, like, there is nothing wrong with pop music that is feel good and is talking about a breakup or a falling in love, I can get down with that just as much as the next person. But the music I feel really called to write is actually having a message. But what I love about pop music, it's almost like a mantra. It gets stuck in your head. It's not too complicated, which some people might turn their nose up at. But I think that there's something really cool about the fact that it gets stuck in people's head. And so if I can put a positive message into music that is getting stuck in people's head, it will become these like mantras in the collective life that makes people feel better and raises their own perspective of themselves and the world around them. And so I think pop music is amazing for that. And I think there are some incredible producers who are doing super cool things. And on my EP, you will probably hear the influence of, even though it's pop music, there's definitely influence of tight harmonies of choral music and classical choral music and jazz influences. So I think pop music is opening up to the possibility of feeling those influences as well. So that's exciting to me.
Exactly, and you just sold it right there. If pop music is working for you as the listener and as the musician, then it's hip, it's current, it's happening again. I think that the technology has come so far that you can make the band in a box.
Yes. It's amazing, pretty amazing.
But it's kind of like if you have a movie with a bunch of green screen special effects, it's like, well, what's the story? What's at its core? So you've got a great group. You've got and you really love to sing. That's a huge bonus. I can tell in your work.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I do. It's true.
Now, we've got about 2 minutes left here, so we do like to do a little bit of plug-orama. Jessie, where can the listeners find you on social media and a little bit of places where they can find the music itself? Yeah,
definitely. So you can watch all the videos that I have out, including the one I'm releasing today, on my YouTube channel, and that is just my name. All my social media is just under my name, Jessie Standafer. I am on all the channels, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, so you can find me there. I have a new website coming out at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that, and you can find out more information about who I am once that website is launched at the end of this month, and all of that will be announced on my social media as well. You can find my music anywhere that you listen to music. It's on SoundCloud. It's on Reverb Nation. It's also on like the main channels of Spotify. You can subscribe to me there, follow me there. And if you're still downloading music, you can do it on Amazon Music, on iTunes. It's just on all of the channels. And I would love to connect with all of your listeners too, and be part of the conversation for sure.
Definitely, that's way cool. Glad to see that you are going for this full drive. Definitely will be interested in checking out that EP, and send us some tweets as you get closer to production on that beach party music video, and we'll tweet some of our LA folks. Try to help you out there too.
Awesome, Brandon. I would love that. Yes, we want the community to come out and have a party with us.
Okay, once again, this is Gay News Radio. I'm Brandon Carmody. Thank you very much to our guest, Jessie Standafer, singer and musician. We wish you the best of luck, and please be a recurring guest.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandon.
Okay, cheers. Have a nice day.
You've been listening to Gay News Radio on the GNR Radio Network. Download our mobile app for iPhone and Android today. And have a good gay.